What's cracking? Dylan from DIY Overdrive here, and I've got my beautiful and pregnant fiance, Micah.
Hey guys, so this is our official tour video of our 2015 Ford Transit van. So we're excited to tour this van and give you guys kind of our perspective of what it's been like driving this van for the last 9 months. It was really helpful for me to watch videos like this when I was looking into what kind of van I wanted. And I'm really happy with my decision to go with this transit van, and I'm excited to show you why. Every reason why a mom wants a van is for this door right here. To not have to worry about opening a door for your kid to hit the car next to you, and easy access to get your kids in and out of the car. So of course, the main reason why I wanted a van was mostly because I didn't want to be limited on how many people we could fit with it. And when it comes to transit vans and just, larger vans, not minivans, usually you're looking at around 9 to 15 person capacity inside the vehicle. This van came with 12 seats, and that was plenty of seats. So right now our configuration is to only have 2 rows back here, and this is just the most convenient for us to be able to utilize the back however we want all the time. And I was finding while researching vans that one of the differentiations between certain vans was the configuration of the seats, because in this specific van it does have set holes on the bottom that the seats will lock into. With other vans, it was a little bit more versatile, where you could actually slide seats around and really configure it however you'd like. With this, you're just slightly more limited on where the seats can actually be. Of course, they sell all sorts of seats for vans like this, so if you didn't like whatever seats you have in your van, you can change those out pretty easily. But even though it's a slight drawback in terms of versatility, I felt like this van was more suited for my needs and our family needs than other vans that did have a little bit more versatility with sliding the seats around and whatnot.
And while that does mean you can't put that 4-seater up a row, my buddy's got a Sprinter van, and all the seats fit into the, I think they call it L channel. And that is a real pain to get the seat in and out. You can do it and you can put it wherever you want, but it's not fun to do. Whereas these, you pull a lever and the seat unclips really quick and easy. As Micah said, this is the 12-seater van, and the standard configuration is 2 captain chairs in the front, a 3-seater here. We got 3 seats in this, I'll call it second middle row. With a pass-through to the back where the 4 seats go. Most of the seats have armrests, which is nice. So Micah and I pulled out the rear 4-seat because this is kind of like her pickup truck, which she picks up furniture and hay for the goats, and all kinds of things go in the back here, and it leaves room for our bikes because we don't have a rack on the back yet. Some of that might change soon, but that's why we just have the first 3 rows in here and not the last one.
Okay, so we are here in the front seat, and this is one of the main reasons why I went with this type of van versus others that I was looking into. And that is because of the amount of cup holders this van has. I'm telling you guys, I am not short on cup holders whatsoever in this van, and I love it. Absolutely love it. In my opinion, Ford makes some of the ugliest dash center control areas ever that I've seen in any vehicle. And I really wanted to get that replaced right away and get an actual useful navigation and radio. So that's something that we did right away, which is why you see this large screen here, which is not very standard in these vehicles, but is so helpful because we're used to having navigation systems, and this one specifically is really nice to have this large screen and to have all of these control buttons right there. So this is a really nice part of the van. When you're buying a 2015, you're not gonna have certain features that you might have on a newer vehicle. So this makes it feel like we do have a newer vehicle. This radio also connects to the built-in reverse camera, but we also did install a dash cam that has front and rear recording. Those are really nice to have, and you know, you never know when you might need it, especially being in this big of a vehicle. But let's get into that topic itself. In terms of this being a larger vehicle, which it's really not that much larger than a standard large SUV, but it does take some getting used to, as you can imagine. So the very first time I ever drove this, it really did feel like I was driving a bus. But by the second or third time I drove it, it was totally normal and it felt more like the proper size van that I was actually in. I only kind of cut a curb once and I have never done it again. And that was probably on the first day of me actually driving it, when you don't realize how long the van is. So.
Can I also jump in that she drove the Suburban? We've got an 88 square body Suburban that she drove daily for a year. We'll link that video below. But you got really good at driving a big vehicle with that. So going from that to this was, you handled it really well.
One of the awesome things about this Transit van and most larger vans in general is how large the mirrors are and how awesome those mirrors are. Like anytime I drive a different vehicle and I don't have those huge mirrors where I can see the line on the road, it's like such a bummer because you get used to seeing everything. So honestly, it didn't take much time at all to get used to the actual size of the vehicle, and having those mirrors were really helpful to, like, you know, prove that I wasn't driving over any lines and I was like within my lane. And yeah, apart from that, like the actual driving itself, it does feel like you're driving a van. And there are some vans out there that are on truck chassis. They're not on unibodies. So some say that some vans do drive more like a truck. This one, I had to make the decision, like, I'm gonna buy a van. I'm expecting it to drive like a van, and that's okay with me because I don't really have a problem driving a van. So those are just some of my opinions on how easy it is to drive, but you just have to get used to how long you are.
Having the captain's seat and the split right there makes it really easy to help manage kids and get into the back as needed. We went with a mid-roof because we definitely didn't want a short one and be squatting over too much. Can't quite stand up fully. We're both, Micah's 5'9.5", I'm 5'10". But we didn't want the tall one. Partially, I think, Micah, correct me if I'm wrong, but we wanted to be able to go through drive-thrus. So that's a little bit of a convenience factor. We just didn't want to be that big. Didn't need to be. In the back space here, each row has its own top vents and floor vents. Top being AC, floor being heat. You also have cup holders in each row, which is really nice. And there's a 12-volt plug back there too for making it convenient to charge things as you go. We also, being a mid-roof, have this storage shelf up here, which is really nice because we can keep all of our sunglasses, hairbrushes, everything up here that we need to. The low roofs, I think, don't have this at all. The high roof does. But it's also really easy to access for controlling the HVAC in the rear. And if you need to convert this, or if you're gonna do something at some point, you can just pull all of the headliner out with these pins here. So that's something that we'll probably do in the rear at some point. That's something we'll talk about in another video. Some of them do actually have a recline. Some of them do, some of them don't. And you just pull this little string here. What doesn't happen is they don't move forward and rear, which is totally fine because as an adult, we're not the shortest people in the world, but we still have plenty of legroom, even with the front comfortably adjusted. So no issues there. Getting into the rear is nice and easy. Same thing, there's not quite as much legroom, but still for an adult, plenty. I mean, this thing's a people mover. Sheraton owned this as a shuttle. So again, 5'10", I've got 2.5 inches or so in front of my knees here. So it's still comfortable for adults in the back. Good point, Micah. Tons of headroom. Where I was standing up there, there's a little bit less headroom because it slopes down, but right here, over here, I don't have to squish quite as much. still not fully upright, but again, we didn't buy this van with the intention of being able to stand upright because we're not living in it. Another thing that we wanted to point out, something that I've kind of bit my tongue on a little bit because I'm an old vehicle guy. I really wanted to get like an 80s, 90s van. I can't pass this up though, the fact that this van has side airbags all the way across. We have our kids in here, so we know that if something were to happen, if this thing ended up on its side, that these airbags are going off and protecting our family. Welcome to the back. Oh, there's tons of room for activities back here.
Yep. We've kind of explored some activities back there. Imagine.
Maybe.
Actually, don't think we ever got around to that.
No.
Got too many kids around all the time.
Micah's hauled a lot of hay in the back of this thing.
We should go down a list of everything that we've been able to do that a truck can do in this van.
This thing's a pickup truck.
Yeah.
We had a bed in it once, and it was nice because it's right there outside. The bolt holes right here that are threaded, I was able to tie into that. These were here because it had a rear cage. Like again, I said it was Sheraton's shuttle, so it had a metal cage here that tied into this. So I was able to bolt in our bed. That I made it easy to pull out, but we did it for a trip. I threw it together real quick in a day. So it's just nice that those are there.
So one of the reasons why I really liked this style van versus other vans is because even with the fourth row, there was still going to be plenty of room for me to use it like a trunk and potentially fit some of those Facebook Marketplace finds or bikes or whatever the case is. The actual back of the seats, like I think here.
It's like back to here, yeah. So still.
So all the strollers that you could ever
imagine and need. Well, and we also talked about getting something like a Sequoia at one point, or like a SUV with a third row, but this has 4 rows and even more storage than an SUV with a third row.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know, it sounded like, you know, the more the better. And something that we actually discovered while driving this van is the actual gas mileage of this thing is not really any better, or not.
It's not worse.
It's not any worse than the 4Runner.
Sometimes better.
I feel like if you can get, I mean, obviously it's not a 4Runner. We can't really compare apples to lemons.
No. And the 4Runner's lifted with big tires, and it's not a comparison. But I was really surprised that this got as good a gas mileage as it does, because on the highway, it would often get 16 plus. The 4Runner at best gets 14.
Yeah, and this probably averages about 13 and a half.
Well, you do all city driving.
With my city driving. So, I mean, obviously there are a lot of reasons, honestly, on why I'm happy I went with this size van, with this capacity, versus some other ones.
Because we're gonna have a lot of kids.
The possibilities, you know, are there. And
the doors are cool because they swing all the way open.
This is another reason. I totally forgot, honestly.
Yeah. Hatchbacks are kind of annoying because it gets in the way of stuff in the roof if you've got
I don't think they
a spoiler. Not vans, I'm talking about like the 4Runner and SUVs and stuff. So having a split door, it doesn't swing as big as like an LX or something, so some other SUVs.
Yeah.
And then it can swing all the way open, which is really nice when, I'll say the hay again, but when you're doing stuff like that, it makes it really convenient for getting things in and out in some situations.
I forgot about that, but that was one of the reasons why. I mean, in my head, I'm really just comparing it to one other van that I was really considering because it was it was the Nissan.
That one looked a lot cooler.
Envy.
Envy. It looked a lot cooler.
Envy?
Yeah, and it was on a truck chassis.
Yeah. So that one I think only came in like a medium roof or like a small.
I think it was a short
roof. And that's like another reason why I was like, oh, well, Dylan would much prefer these doors to
This is superior.
get wider.
Oh, I also did replace all the lighting inside with LEDs. So we're not worried about doors being left open, lights being left on, because they pull such a small amount. They're not like the original halogens that I pulled out.
So in its standard stock form, there's actually a lot you can do with this type of a van without having to do a full conversion on it. We never really intended on buying a van to do a full conversion. We always kind of like pondered the idea of like, oh, when we get a van, we might do something to it. We might make it cooler than just like a Amazon truck, you know, an Amazon van. So we've actually explored doing that once with a road trip, which we then had to come up with some sort of a bed solution. Our first time ever doing anything with the van. And Dylan actually came up with a really cool platform that was gonna be easy to take out of the van and put back in when we wanted it. And because we have 3 children, 1 more is coming, so that will make 4. You know, so good at math. Anyway, we also... So we actually came up with an idea of doing a bunk bed with the intention of the top bunk being either sleeping or extra storage. So we created this platform to be tall enough for us to be able to put all of our stroller and to store one of these seats underneath and all of our luggage and everything, including a toilet. And Dylan got really creative and had like a lift up design on the bed.
On the front side of it.
So that we could do a toilet system, you know? And it turned out really good for just coming up with this one afternoon, getting it built, getting it ready for a road trip. We had that configuration. We had the van configured slightly different than it is now, but ultimately all we did was put a platform in, and it ended up working out really well for our road trip. But we are going to be doing a couple more road trips coming up. So we wanted to do this walkthrough on the van to kind of give an overview of the before we do a build out on it.
And I'm obsessed with being modular and being able to adjust things on the fly. So I don't know how much we're going to do that's totally permanent. We're not doing a full conversion because she uses the van for so many different things. We want to be able to go on the trip and then come back to a configuration kind of like this. Even if there's something left over, it's not going to be a full conversion where it's like cabinets and things that are all in the way of being able to use it for its utility reasons also.
Exactly. We just want it to be camp road trip ready without spending more than a couple hours at a time on it. So we do plan to put another platform in or reutilize what we already had, and also kind of get this thing looking much cooler than it does on the outside, and just, you know, much more useful. So in the very near future, this van is going to be way more capable, and we have some really cool additions happening to the outside and on the inside. So you'll have to follow along to see what we do next. I'm Micah.
I'm Dylan. Thank you all so much for watching DIY Overdrive. See you on the next one.